Sorry, I got us off track there. Alright, so what I want to do today, right now we're going over, we just did the introduction, and I want to go over what we're going to be doing today.
Agenda.
So first I want to have a class discussion that just about some of the stuff we've been learning, so decimals, fractions, percents, kind of how they're all related and connected. Then I want to do a warm-up to kind of just see what we already know about visualizing percents, right?
I don't know.
On Monday, I think you guys did work problems. You guys did work problems.
Oh yeah, he left.
Dang.
He wasn't here.
That camera not recording me.
Alright guys, hey, let's bring it back up here for a second. So we're going to do the warm-up and figure out what you guys already know about visualizing these percents, fractions, and decimals. Hey guys,
They're recording.
I need you guys to refocus, right? So then I want to work on actually something we can put our hands on. So I want to work with blocks to kind of visualize percentages.
Yay!
Alright?
Those blocks, I
I know.
What's wrong with them?
Everything up now.
No, especially those little ones.
Alright, so we're gonna do a little work with that, and then we're gonna do some coloring
Oh, yay!
and kind of work with percentages, but in a fun way with coloring.
I want color.
Alright, everything is all working towards better understanding percents, decimals, and fractions. Alright,
Alright, open your books.
so yeah, the first thing I want you guys to do, please,
Open your books.
is I want you guys to open up your notebooks, and I just want you guys to respond to a couple questions that I have here. Now these questions aren't supposed to be easy, and I kind of just want you guys to, and it's alright if you're struggling with
What day
this.
is today?
Today's the 16th. So it's okay if you guys struggle with this. These are supposed to be hard questions, but I just want to give you guys some time to jot down your ideas, and then we're going to come together as a class and go over what you're able to come up with. So the first question I have for you,
Can you turn off the light?
yeah, I want you to think about this and write down some ideas.
This is hard.
It's supposed to be hard.
Dang you.
It's okay, I'm not looking for the right answer, I'm just looking for ideas. I want us to think about this, because we're going to make these connections this class.
I think I know.
Alright.
Can they all be at the same number?
Can I just write one answer?
That's fine. Just jot down in your notebooks an idea, alright? Because then we're going to come together and I'm going to have you guys give me your ideas.
No, right.
So just write down your thoughts on this.
How do you spell multiplication?
Next question is, what do fractions, percents, and decimals all represent? Think about it. What do fractions, percents, and decimals all represent? When we work with these types of numbers, what are they, like, why are they special? What do they represent?
Decimals.
But as far as numbers are concerned,
Decimal.
They help you?
they help you, but what kind of numbers do they help you with?
The big numbers?
The big numbers?
No problem.
Well, think about a fraction. What does a fraction represent? Is it a big number? So what does it represent?
A small number?
Or how about a part of a number, right? And that's a good hint for this. What do fractions, percents, and decimals all represent? Because they're all very connected, and if fractions represent a part of a number,
I don't know what to put.
that's fine. As I'm saying, just think about it, jot down any ideas that come to you, and then I want to talk about it.
I can't.
What's the instruction?
I don't have magic to jump off the dia. I can't do that. Can't do that.
If nothing's coming to you, that's fine. I just want, it's okay to struggle with ideas. That's when you best learn, is when you have a hard time with something, and then after the end, you come out with something else. That's the point of having these conversations and doing things that are difficult.
I didn't put none on the first one.
And this is something we have talked about a little bit, but what are some things you might see or describe in a percent or fraction? So what's something you would describe using a percent or a fraction?
Or like, in other words, what would you use them for?
Where are you going to see people describing things in percentages or fractions in the real world? Where outside of this classroom are you going to see something described as a 30% chance of happening, or something's halfway gone, where are you going to see people using these terms?
Whether
So my first question to you was, what do fractions, decimals, and percents all have in common?
well, that's the next question, or is it?
No, this is the first question I asked you. Did anybody come up with anything? So what do fractions, decimals, and percents have in common?
Multiplication. Multiplying.
Okay, you can use multiplication to help figure out different percents of things, or apply decimals. Absolutely, you can use multiplication. Carter, did you have something you want to add? What do you have written down?
They have like different structure.
Alright, yeah, they look different. They're all presented in a different form. Absolutely. They're all going to have different uses for them.
Bro, Ricardo needs his own meat.
Hey guys, we're not talking about that right now.
Yeah,
So
Eric.
stay focused. Hey, come on,
No.
stay focused. So, anything else? What do fractions, decimals, and percents have in common?
Have in common?
This is kind of in connection to that second
A
question.
fraction?
What do fractions, percents, and decimals all represent?
A part of the number?
A part of a number, right? So when we're talking about percents, decimals, and fractions, can we use them to represent not a whole number, but part of a number?
No.
No.
So what if we have something like the number 2.5?
2.5, that's like 2.5, right?
Yeah, so this 0.5 is a decimal, right? It's not a whole number, it's half of one number. Do we see how that works? And how that, and then if we have something like, let's see here. Let's say, you have a pizza
For the party.
and only this amount is left. What would you say? What's left?
One half.
You have 1/2 left, right? So that's a way that you could use a fraction to represent, do you have a whole pizza left?
No.
No, but you have part of one, right? And a good way to describe it would be using a fraction. I have half a pizza left. Alright?
Drawing.
What's that?
Huh?
Or let's see here. If we were to, if we were to describe about how much of the school year we have left,
5.
if I said we had about that much of the school year left, would you guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, can you use percents, decimals, and fractions all to describe when you have not something whole, but like a part of something, right? Does that all make sense? Alright, give me, guys, show me that you guys pay attention. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Thumbs down if that making no sense. Johnny, you with me? You with me?
Questions.
Alright, what's up?
I didn't get all 3 questions.
No, that's fine. This was just something I wanted everybody to write down their ideas so that we could all talk about and have a conversation. Last question I had here. So, let's see here. What are some of the things you might see and describe in percents or fractions or even decimals? Somebody raise your hand, give me some ideas.
Huh? Oh, no.
For ideas?
Yeah, for number 3, the third question. What are some of the things you might see and describe in percents or fractions?
Either weather, stores, or in a
School.
yeah, something like that.
Alright, so with weather, what do we typically use?
Like how you say, like how much percent of the rain is it gonna get?
Yeah, absolutely. So has anybody heard of the word probability?
No.
Anybody? No?
No.
So probability is all about the chance that something will happen. So when you're a meteorologist, like you said, or whether you're a weather probability in percents to describe the chance that something might happen, right? So yeah, absolutely, use percents. You said in stores. So what do we see in stores?
Discounts.
Discounts in the form of a what?
Percent.
In the form of percent, absolutely. What about some other things? Did anybody else have anything?
School.
School? So what do we see in school? What do we use?
Fraction.
Fractions? Where do we use fractions?
Math.
We use fractions in math, absolutely.
Wait, what? They all have in common?
Oh, well, just like where do we see people using percents, decimals, and fractions in the real world?
College.
Probably.
Okay, and what though? In what way?
Math.
What about your grades?
Oh, great.
Oh yeah, in grades, it depends how much. Like if it's like what 70%, that's a C.
Trying to get that 95% to get an A, right?
If it's 90, it's an A. Isn't it?
I'm not gonna
I
be
think
those
so.
type of people with straight A's.
Probably I gotta get a C.
Not with that attitude, you're not, Stephanie.
I don't like
People with straight A's or they have to be.
No, that's not true.
Or they at least try to get it.
Yeah, you do have to put forth effort to get
I
good
probably
grades.
get a B from the
But there's nothing wrong with
I
that.
got
Just a little math.
This should be something you're proud about.
From the C I got.
Wait, why did you try to see?
All right, hold on, guys. Anything else that we want to add to that?
No.
I think
Like
that's
like percentages?
yeah.
Like when you see something low, it says 50 or 25, and then it keeps on going higher and higher.
So what do you mean? Explain.
Like if you download something, it tells you how much
Oh.
percent it's going.
That's a good one. Yeah. Has anybody ever downloaded something off the internet and it says you're somewhat percent downloaded,
Yeah.
right? Or they'll show it in like gigabytes and they'll be like 12.4 out of 100. Download.
I hate gigabytes, I swear. They're me off.
But yeah, you've seen that, right? Where they use decimals or
Well, when
percent.
it's full store,
fractions.
it tells you how many percent.
Yeah, so everybody has dealt with all of these kinds of numbers, whether you realize it or not at the time, but we're always dealing with and looking at and working with percentages, decimals, and fractions.
Alright, I
Is
my
fill
circle.
in. I want to see everybody fill in. Give me your idea of what 25% looks like. Visualize. So 25% filled in. I want you to draw it on your square and then hold it up.
I know what to do.
I stuck on my circle.
Three.
Gonna do a circle?
If you feel more comfortable representing 25% as a circle, that's fine by me. I just want to kind of get an idea of
I'll do a
Can I
triangle.
fill it in?
what's up.
Can I fill it
Yeah,
in?
yeah, you can fill it in. I want you guys to show me what 25% looks like.
I don't know what 25%.
Where?
That's fine.
Shush.
Like this?
No.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Hey, yeah, sácate.
Like this.
if you're not sure, give it your best shot, or
My hand hurts.
if you don't know where to start, that's fine. This is the whole idea of me doing this is to get an idea of what you guys already know, so I have a starting point.
So like this, the line.
So if you're going to think about this and fill in 25% of your square, how
Yeah.
much of it's going to be filled in? Okay. So,
¿Has seguido?
How can I fill?
so, so 25%. What's everybody thinking it's going to look like?
Like this.
Perfect. So what I did here, and if you made a circle, I'll show you what I think it would look like.
There. Ow.
So when I think of 25%, 25%, and we're going to go over this, is the same thing
1 whole.
as 1 over 4
Then I missed math upgrade.
or
Oh,
0.25.
I missed that.
So it's like 1/4 of either the square or the circle is going to be shaded in. So if I had a square, I might want to divide the square into 4 parts and fill in the 1/4. If I had a circle, I might want to divide it into 4 and fill in 1/4. Right?
You know what? I'm gonna do a circle. That's much better.
That's fine, but can everybody see how this is
Yeah, I understand.
how this translates?
Yeah.
And 25% is the same thing as 1/4, which is the same thing as this decimal point, and this is how it would be represented visually. All right.
Maybe in math up here, they tell us about the same song. They taught us a song about the pie chart and all of something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember the song?
Something to go with, like, we have one delicious apple pie. If 500 people to share.
Oh yeah. No,
Apple
that's all
pie.
right.
And the chef took one, and everybody else took the rest.
All right. Yeah.
It's more like that.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is how I try to think about percentages and decimals and fractions. I like to think about it in the way of food, right? If I can think about it like a pizza, I can visualize how much is left, right, as a percentage. So let's
Pineapple what?
let's see here. Can I have you guys now try to
Make a triangle.
let's see here.
No.
Show me what they have here, right? So 2/3. Okay. So if we were going to figure this out, my first step might be to break up whatever shape I have into 3 equal parts, right?
Oh yeah, I could do that too. You only put a line in there.
So how much am I going to fill in? 2 of these, right? Two
That's
of
what I thought.
2 of the 3 parts.
Messed up.
It's raining.
Wow, Eric.
Okay, so does everybody see how we got this here?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Because if you no, it's all right. If you don't,
No, I did.
you did.
That's how I thought, but then I'm like, nah, and then I did it.
All right. Well, as I said, this is just like a warm up to figure out what you guys already know. All right. Let's see here. What did everybody do? So I know it's very tempting to want to play around with these and build with them, but I want to talk about using these blocks as a way to represent.
I got 12 right here.
That's fine. All right.
Oh, what the heck?
So first off, guys, if we have, let's imagine this is all filled in. How many blocks? How many squares are
100.
100 squares, right?
Yeah.
We have 10 going this way, 10 going that way. We know by multiplying 10 by 10, there's going to be 100 blocks here. So when we're talking about percentages, if this whole thing was filled in, what would this look like as a percentage?
One hole.
Yeah, so as a percent, what's that going to look like?
100%.
100%. What about as a fraction? Can anybody come up with what this would look like as a fraction?
100 over 100.
Perfect, that works as well.
Really?
You know what 100 over 100 could also look like?
100.
Well, what is 100 divided by 100?
1.
So you could represent this as 1, right?
What?
So, yeah, even as a decimal, if we're looking at this in the way of decimals, it's going to be 1, right? Because this is one whole. This is 100%, 100 over 100, or 1. Does everybody see why that is? Or why that works that way? It's representative of a whole. Alright, a whole 1.
It's like a whole pizza, right?
Yeah, this is a whole pizza. Now,
Or in a party.
Oh.
what about? I know this is not the easiest to see. But can you see the differences in the blue?
Yeah.
Bro, what are you doing? What are you doing?
When I look at this, when you guys look at this up on the screen, what would this be represented as?
150.
150? Let's say as a whole, only the darker blue is what I'm trying to look at.
Oh, sorry.
That would be 50% then.
50%, right?
Yeah.
Because how many of these boxes are filled in blue?
5.
Alright? 50%. What's this going to look like as a fraction?
5 out of 10. I mean, 50 out of 100.
50 out of 100. Now, can I simplify that?
Yes.
So if I simplify that, what's it going to look like? What can What can I divide both these numbers by?
2.
Could divide it by 2.
Wait.
It's going to give me 25
5,
over
right.
50. Can I simplify that longer?
Yeah, by 5.
By 5. So what's that going to give us? If we divide both the top and the bottom by 5.
5.
5 over what? What's 50 divided by 5?
5. No, wait.
50 divided by 5?
Yep.
10.
10.
Damn.
5 over 10. Can we
Okay.
simplify that further?
No.
No.
There's not a number we can divide 5 and 10 by?
Wait.
2?
No.
No, not 2. Huh?
Can you switch it or leave it like
5.
We can divide them both by 5.
this? 5 both by 5.
Yep, so if we divide 5 by 5, we're going to get what?
1 over 2.
Wouldn't you say that if we're looking at this picture, it's halfway, well, it's only half full, right? Or
Yeah.
it's only half of it is dark blue, right? So, what about representing this as a decimal? Does anybody have any guesses?
No.
Well, let's see here. In your notebooks, and we're going to use these notes, but if we want to convert a percent to a decimal, you don't have to do too much. So see how this says 75%? To get it to become a decimal, all we have to do is move the decimal place a couple places. So if this is 50%, and all we have to do is move the decimal places 2 places to the left. What are we going to get as a decimal here? If the decimal starts here and moves over 2 places, like when we were crossing off zeros. 50% is going to look like what as a decimal?
Like,
Dang it.
you want this as a fraction? Or
Well, when I turn 50% into a decimal by moving the decimal places, this is what we're going to have as a decimal, right?
No.
0.50.
You're late.
So,
Late.
using your blocks, guys, what I would like to see you represent, I'm going to come around and I want to see you guys try to show me, first I want to see what 75% is going to look like using the blocks. Shading in, using your 10 blocks and your 1 blocks to shade in 75% of the square. Okay?
5.
I want you guys to give it a try. I want you to show me what 75% is going to look like using the base 10 blocks.
Answer is 5.
Is for which one?
Baby.
5.
I said
I
it
get
weird.
You're
fraction.
like a baby. No.
5.
But then the. Alright, so I want you to show me what 75% is going to look like
There.
on the boxes here.
got it.
Alright,
On the bottom.
so
3, 4, 9.
Well,
Got it.
I want everybody to show me what 75% is going to look like.
I don't know how to do
I
this.
don't
Perfect,
know.
just throw them on top of here so I can see it in contrast. Let's see here. So you have 10, 20, 30, 40,
Duh.
50, 60, 65.
Sí, okay.
Right?
So ahora a la salida vas a ver.
Alright, so can you show me 75%?
I don't know how to do this.
Okay. So hey, this is 100%, right? There's 100 boxes here. But I want you to show if this is then 10%. And this is 20%. How can you show me what 75% looks like?
You put on the
70.
That's what? That's 30, right? Because if each of these are worth 10, and what's that?
40.
So, keep going until you're able to represent 75, right?
50.
Alright. So if this whole thing is representative of 100%,
There.
and these are all 10, how can you show me?
70.
Yep. How can you show me 75% on that?
And 5 points.
Correct.
There's the hall. There's the hallway.
Alright. guys here.
So yeah, just all those
You got 50 there. So let's. Alright, so what's up?
Yeah.
What is this?
I got 75%.
Alright, I see 70. Where's my 5? Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's so
It's not hard. What's the what?
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's everybody got
Alright.
nerves.
So what's hard about it? Or where am I losing you?
I didn't.
You stopped eating
Right.
since
Because
the last time
this
you
whole thing is 100.
This time for
We've got 75% of this,
But I mean, you have to support it because you haven't
right?
every class mostly. You haven't.
Hey, I made a couch.
You haven't tomorrow. First, second.
Has anybody ever heard of?
Oh yeah, he said again.
I said,
Wait,
no.
So let me.
I'm in.
Hey guys,
Ya le grabó.
eyes up here. Can I have you guys' attention for a second?
Yeah.
All right. So has anybody ever heard of a mosaic?
No.
No.
Right. It's. Does anybody have
Art
any
piece?
guesses? Anybody have any guesses to what mosaic might be? Go ahead.
An artwork.
Ah, you're very intuitive. Yes, that's correct. It is a different style of art. Can anybody have any guesses as to what mosaic art might be like, or like what makes it
paintings.
special?
No. I don't know exactly. But I think
The colors.
Colors and liners.
Colors and what? Like the little individual
Yeah.
lines?
The lines.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody, take a look up here. I know this is going to be a little bit tougher to see because you can't really. Oh wow, jeez, you're so smart.
Thanks. Boy, you can't
You'll
see it. Teaching. I'm teaching.
All right.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to do a turtle, not a fish.
So, can you guys sort of see how, especially this one with the fish, how they're little, small little pieces,
Yeah.
and they're all put together?
Yeah.
So a mosaic is typically using stained glass or like little pebbles
Oh,
of
that.
different colors and gluing them
Wait.
together.
Now you say it. Now I remember.
Yeah.
Yes. I heard it in Miss Mosa's class last year.
All right,
She
perfect.
said the mosaic thing.
Yeah.
It's-
So
they're like little pieces of glass that she sent to the class last year.
absolutely. So you're taking small little pieces of different colors of the same material and putting it together to make an image, right? So these are some pretty cool ones. All right, we got somebody smiling, fish.
Why does it says colors, numbers, fraction, decimal percent?
Well, I will get to that in just a moment.
I don't know.
So what I want everybody to do today is I want everybody to create their own mosaic using this outline that we have here. Now,
I got it.
I was gonna draw a picture for a second.
let's see here. So what I want everybody to do today is to create your own pattern mosaic. So you're coloring the boxes different colors, right? To make a pattern that you like. And then afterwards, you're the best. Thank you so much. And then afterwards, I want to break down. What? That's fine. So what I want to do today is I want you guys to create your own mosaics.
No, wait,
Yes. No,
You
I
have-
like this.
You have to be able to see your artwork.
I can see my artwork.
Oh, I can't.
I have sucky artwork.
No, you don't.
Did I say you?
Really?
You've never seen me do my artwork,
Like,
so.
you can,
I haven't seen mine. Mine is the worst.
What's up?
Like we can create our own images like in our mind.
Yeah, create your own images using the different patterns. Now, what I will say is try to make sure that all of your squares are the same color. So how many squares are there on this box?
100.
Exactly. So we're going to be able to break down and figure out what percent of your mosaic is the color yellow or orange or red, right? So that's kind of where we're headed with this. But for now, I want you guys just to go ahead and create a design that
I want to blue.
looks cool and
I have
that
a
you like.
question.
Ah.
Yeah.